Good morning, my YouTube family. How's everyone this morning? I hope you're great. I need to start this out just a little different, so I hope you'll just hang on and bear with me. I'm back, and I'm in my kitchen. I have a little something going on the table, so I had to work it out here today. So anyway, this is a 1,000 pound challenge, and I'm trying to divert 1,000 pounds of food that I would normally get put down the garbage disposal or in the trash and go out for the landfill, really, and send that back into my garden, and which is out there, and you can see it's still dark, so it's quite early in the morning that I'm doing this. But some of the items that I'm diverting is the only word I can say, sending from one spot to another, are my fruit and vegetable peels. We go through probably 2.5 pounds of fruit and vegetable peels a week. We eat a lot of vegetables, we eat a lot of fruit, and a lot of it, like banana peels, I can't eat, and just different things. We're not wasteful, but we do not eat our peels. The coffee grounds, tea bags, any of coffee grounds and tea leaves, any of that. If you have any old cereal, anything that you're going to throw away, instead of throwing it away, it can go into your compost. I mean, great idea. Crackers get stale, flour gets stale, cornmeal gets stale. Excuse me. I've even gotten to the point where I have so much fruit that because I am a worm farmer also, I give it to my worms, that if I have an overload, then I dehydrate it and I turn it into this wonderful powder. You can see those are banana fibers. Isn't that interesting? That it doesn't break down. But anyway, you can see it's just beautiful. I mean, if you had to just put that out in your garden, you could. Excuse me. I haven't had my coffee yet this morning. It's still percolating in the back there. I save my eggshells, and I make a powder out of those to feed to my worms. But if you didn't have worms, you could put that around your plants, and just showing you the egg. And I didn't have any that I hadn't ground up already. Those are all the fresh things that you can use. And on the dry side, let's see if we've done anything else. Oh, shrimp. Someone brings you flowers. Those flowers can be put back out into the garden. Once they're dead, of course, you enjoy them for yourself. But then on the carbon side, because if you have a compost pile, you can't just put all of the wet things in it. Believe me, I started a geobin, and I started it with too much grass clippings, and so I've gotten very clumpy, and it started to get a little odor to it, and not a pleasant compost odor. So I have been working loads of carbon into it, and I found that if I take and put this through my shredder, I take both newspaper, white paper, and then also cardboard, and I mix those all together, and that's how I feed either my worms or my compost pile, and the two together work well. If I put in just the white paper, again, it clumps. It breaks down too quickly. But I also add my toilet paper, paper towel rolls. If I'm making like a little hugelkultur or at the base of my pots, I will use cork because that just works beautifully. I save all my bags, most of the time we at the grocery store we take in our reusable bags, but occasionally you forget. So whenever I get a trash bag, then I certainly save that. And I also found that we've gotten a few things where we had these heavy cardboard containers, and you think, gee, they don't, I mean, that's hard. You can't just rip that. So what I've done, because I'm in Florida, and we're very humid, is I let them sit out for a couple months, and the humidity, oh, that's my coffee maker calling me. Anyway, the humidity just makes these almost swell, and then you can go ahead and rip it up. So let me just stop this again. I'm back. I'm back. I'm here. You can see what I'm doing here. I hope I'm in the frame. Um, we had, last week I did tell you that we had heavy rains and my moringa tree actually went over into my neighbor's yard, and she was concerned because these little, dragging it up here, but these little fronds were touching her screen, and she was worried about it. I mean, it's a screen, and she didn't want any damage, so she wanted to let me know. And so we had, we've had like three more heavy storms, and I've had a couple more of my moringas, um, kind of like they're a shallow root. I think they have a tap root also, which would make them a diffuse. You have a combination. The tap root goes down and the diffuse goes out like this. But if you look at them, they're mainly that shallow pan set of roots. Anyway, long story short, mine have been starting to go over, so they really need to be topped, and I mean badly topped. The moringas are happiest at probably about 6 or 7 feet, and so anyway, I can't move everything over here. Long story short, so again, we're doing our 1,000-pound challenge. This is week 38. We've only got 14 weeks left in the whole year. Where did it fly? I guess a lot of living, huh? And uh, Brian came, our neighbor who lives up the street, and he brought me his grass clippings on Sunday, today, but last week, and it was 35 pounds. So we were like, oh boy, we're off to a great start already in the week, and we did a lot of our own. We cut our grass, and we cut our shrubs and bougainvillea and all sorts of things, and we came up with 56 pounds. So 21 pounds on our own. That was pretty good. And so the whole our combination of everything so far is 1,357 pounds and 2.7 ounces. So I don't. 1,000 pounds was our challenge. At the time, I thought, I'll bet we get to 1,800. I don't know why that number came up. And I had a couple of you, Sandra, over at Nana's Worms and Gardens. She picked 1,800 also. But I have some other, Jane was 1,835, and Joanie was 1,700, and Nick thinks I'm going to make it to 2,000. So, hang on, Nick. You never know. You might be the winner. So anyway, that was probably about it on this whole thing. I think we're doing stellar work, and I just used one of these cardboards so I didn't mess up my little continuity. And but I did want to show you that this moringa, this was just yesterday. I mean, this dries very, very fast, but you can still see that it's got some limp to it, and some of them haven't really. They're still pretty fresh, but I've turned my neighbor, who was worried about it falling in her screen. Uh, we cut it way back to about 6 feet, and right at the whole tree, and the bark of it is probably about like that. So it's pretty in there, and I think those roots will have a chance to really go down in there. The tree itself is only 2 years old. But I was telling her about moringa, and she's vegetarian, and so I kind of went back through, and she was asking, well, what's it good for? Well, my old mind here is forgetting things, so I had to really listen to some of these things again, and how it's 6 times more vitamin C than an orange, and I mean, it was just all these things that they're incredible. Now, you're not going to eat an orange size worth of moringa, but the fact that it is so nutrient dense, so vitamin packed, it even has protein in it. It has, they said, twice the protein of a steak. Well, for somebody who's vegetarian, that's good to hear, because I mean, how many beans can you eat, to get your proteins? But I wanted to show you, I take it, this is a desiccate packet, and I save them from all different sorts of things to use in here. And you can see I've powdered this, and I hope you can see that. I've powdered it, and it makes a nice little powder for if you're doing smoothies, if you're gonna have soup. I mean, you kind of just, I don't want to say disguise it, but it does have a strong taste. It does have a, ooh, wow. It's like if you tasted mint, and the mint was so strong that it kind of bit the back of your throat a little bit, and then you kind of get that flavor, and you go, that's not too bad. And but it is so good for you, and you can put it into capsules. You can buy the capsules, and then ingest those. I like to think that if I can do it as simply as possible, where I'm taking it in, but I'm not having to buy I'm not having to buy a product to get myself to take it. So anyway, I ended up that I gave her a jar of it, and she and her husband were out trimming their shrubs, and I went out, and I was talking to her, and I said, I know we talked about it before, but would you be interested in trying this? Because she goes up to a farmer's market once a week, and she buys the juicing the wheatgrass or something, and she knows about microgreens, but she didn't know anything about moringa. So now she does. We planted the seed here, haven't we? And it's that seed of interest. And if you can plant the seed of interest in more people, then you start to work in the positive way. It's like, I don't want to get religious, but planting the seed of love, or planting the seed of spirituality, versus planting the seed of anger. You hear people say, oh, politics, oh, that Biden, oh. Rick and I are very conservative, but sometimes I get tired of hearing any of that. And I think, I can't do anything about it. I mean, other than, throw myself in march and what have you. But I can do what I can do. So if I can plant the seed of positive thinking, or positive eating, or positive living, then that's my farmer. That's me being the farmer. And so she was just thrilled, and I gave her a little scooper to go with it, and a desiccator, and said, she has smoothies every morning. Have a little half a scoop or a whole scoop. Use it within a month. Let me know what you think. And I'm sure she'd probably pay, I don't know, $10, $12, something like that for that size. Gift to you. If I can grow it and I can share it, then that's the gift to me. I'm very happy. I'm more than happy. So anyway, garden what you've got. If anybody has any questions on anything you've seen, if you're interested in moringa, I certainly don't know much, other than they seem to be growing really well in my Zone 9B backyard. And the more we take, I think the better we feel. I'm still sneaking it in on Rick because I want him to, I plan to live to be 100, and I want him to live to be 100 also. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday. This is our second day of autumn, and it's lovely. I mean, when we use the word glorious, we think of God, but it really, yesterday was a glorious day, and I got more gardening done yesterday than I usually do in a couple days, and it was pleasurable. So anyway, take care, everybody, and I hope to see you back next Sunday. Remember, garden what you've got, use what you have, and be happy. Bye bye.